Hey kids, this is Pulse Ray Vision coming to you live from Quattro Cinco Studios in my mom's basement with part 2 of chapter 15, Rings of Dust, where we're watching Emily and her trek towards trying to help out the collective on Earth. I'll just share this up here in the screen. There we go, and we will continue reading right here. All right. Authorized field participation, witness protection, asset acquisition, active relay. He said it without inflection. Below 4, you're not asked to move against anyone. You're asked to be somewhere and get something there. He looked at the road. That's his. That's this. Emily drove. She thought about the clearance 3. She thought about the east entrance biometric case and biometric cases and what it meant to be authorized for something that required a word like authorized. That's got to be fixed. Do you know what she's asking me to get there? Emily said. Conrad's research, his documentation of what Alpha did to Gracie when they turned into Iris. He had already known. I know the facility layout. I know the access route. I know what happens after. He paused. I don't know your brother. Okay, so hang on. In 270, he says Conrad's research. However, Rachel had just said that it was removed. So Sami wouldn't think that's what they're getting there. Rachel had said that Emily will know it when she sees it. Which I think means that Rachel would know. Yeah, does Rachel know what happens or what is supposed to happen at the site? So that changes things as well. All right. You don't need to. No, he said, I don't. They drove for a while in silence. It was not uncomfortable. The high desert flattened out towards the state line. Emily ate the second granola bar. Sami declined when she offered the box without looking at it. Sami drank his water at even intervals. Not thirst. Protocol. She noticed this the way she noticed his shoes. Not as evidence of anything, just as information about the kind of person he was. Your condition, he said, not as a question. 284. WTF is her condition? It's managed. Hang on one second. Sorry, I had to kick the dogs out. All right, it's managed. Her voice was flat. I'm not questioning the operation. I just want to know the rest of the schedule. She thought about it. Every 3 hours, 20 minutes, I need to get out and move. She looked at the road. I don't need you to drive. I know. He looked at the horizon. Every 3 hours is fine. Again, this is complete hallucination and bullshit. So we'll fix that. 295. Aboard the Meridian, 5 days after the farm road, Emily's signal moving east had a particular quality in the trace of a slight Doppler adjacent skew Kate had learned to feel for the way you feel for a key in your pocket. Emily was driving fast. She's moving, Kate said. Enter part 2. She's moving, Kate said. Now she's finally supposed to be moving. They've been saying she's been moving for the first 14 chapters. And I've been like, no, you dumbasses. She's not moving yet. Now she's actually moving. Deo was eating an uninspired sandwich and did not look up. East? East. Baker fuel stop continuing. The field authorization shadow confirmed. She's aware of it. She identified Sami herself. Peter looked up. She identified a surveillance teller herself. She pulled over, asked him directly. A beat. That's actually the correct move, Peter said slowly. Sharon trained her, even if neither of them called it that. Most people don't. No, Kate said they don't. Loa was writing something on her forearm in marker. This was a habit she had when she was processing something. The marker felt like cheap solvent, the faint chemical bite of it carrying across the station. Kate had started to associate that smell with the moments before Loa had said something important. She had not mentioned this to Loa. Are we pulling for Emily Nova? Peter said. He meant it as a genuine question, which told Kate he still hadn't quite learned to distinguish between the operations the collective ran and the people at the center of them. Sharon T's last confirmed communication was to Emily Nova's relay. Deo said. He'd finished the sandwich. He stared at the wrapper. She told us Emily was better than the situation required of her. Sharon ran the gray market for years. She never took our patch. She turned us down flat, more than once. But the people who dealt with her trusted her and her read completely. He folded the wrapper. If that was Sharon's assessment, it's our assessment. We're pulling for Emily Nova, Kate confirmed. Peter nodded. He wrote something small on the edge of his nav panel, same private script Loa used for her forearm. Kate didn't read it. Some things were for the person writing them. Nevada opened past Prim like the end of a preamble. The sky was bigger here, or it seemed bigger. The land flat enough in every direction that you got more of it above you. The horizon a complete circle instead of an edge. Emily had driven across it once before with Sharon, heading east for a reason she couldn't fully remember now. They had stopped at a roadside stand selling whole smoked brisket wrapped in butcher paper and eaten it at a picnic table in the parking lot at 10 in the morning because Sharon said time zones were a social construct. She told Sami this. He'd said nothing for a moment and then said, I heard she was good. She was better than that. Emily kept her eyes on the road. The phrase she wanted was not available to her. She was still finding the right container for it. She was the kind of person who made you think the world was slightly more manageable than you decided it was. And then you had to keep recalibrating when she was in it. She let a breath out. And now I'm recalibrating again, Sami said. The collective tries to have that effect. Not the same thing, she said. She said it without sharpness, just accurately. She was quiet for a moment. No, he said, it isn't. They stopped east of Searchlight. Emily walked the length of the rest stop and back twice, the flat light pressing down on everything with impartial weight. Her legs were cooperating. The pilot light was where she'd left it. She did the math on the day, 6 hours in, an hour and a half ago. She'd managed worse. Sami came out of the rest stop building as she was finishing the second lap. He handed her a water bottle without comment. She took it, and for a moment their hands were both on it. Not romantic, practical. The handoff. And he stopped. His eyes went into the inside of her thumb and forefinger, the dark smudge there, silver gray, worn into the skin over weeks. What's that? He said. Not a question. Emily looked at her hand the way you look at something you've stopped seeing. Conrad, she said. Sami held his attention on it for one beat longer. than the answer required. Then he handed her the water fully and turned back toward the car. Sharon hadn't recruited her. Sharon didn't recruit anyone. She didn't have the patience for organizational structure. What Sharon had done was pull a high school science teacher into the gray market and made it look like the most alive thing in the world. Emily had loved it. She had joined the collective herself afterward because she believed in standing up to bullies and because she had already decided what side she was on before anyone asked. Sharon opened the door. Emily walked through it. She thought about Cole. She thought about him the way she had learned to think about him during deployments, not with worry exactly, more with a kind of held awareness, the way you keep a candle burning without watching it. She knew him well enough to know that he was managing. She knew him well enough to know that managing covered a wide range of situations that would terrify anyone who was not Cole Nova. She knew that she had Iris in his head, he had Iris in his head, and Taylor and his crew, and a ship full of Dark X, and 9 months until he was close enough to a return window. She knew that Conrad's counter program, in the right hands, could reach him. Okay. 412. It's not 12 months. It's not 9 months. She was the hands. This was not comforting. It was, however, something to do. She got back in the car. Samu was already buckled. She pulled back into the highway without announcing it. The light changed somewhere past Jean, flat overhead white of the afternoon going amber, shadows of highway signs getting along. Emily did not stop tracking the road, but she stopped working to track it. Something in her body had settled into the drive the way it does after enough hours, and the landscape moved past her without requiring anything. She thought about Sharon and average. Doomed to be average had been the formulation that landed, but it wasn't the original sentence. The original sentence, the one Sharon had said when Emily was 13. Jeez. Oh my gosh. 433 and 434. When Emily was 13, WTF. All right. Another school presentation. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. 434. In their kitchen, after Emily had come from a school presentation gone badly, sat at the table with her forehead on her arms, refused dinner. With something closer to, you know what your problem is. You see the distance between where you are and where you want to be, and you call it failure. Most people don't even see the distance. You're not average. You're just impatient. Emily had thought she was wrong. She had thought she had kept being 13 about it for the better part of 2 decades. Oh my gosh. 443. 13. Again. The doomed to be average version had come later when Emily was older and knew better not to be self-deprecating. And Sharon had used it because by that point they both knew the terrain well enough to navigate in shorthand. It had not been the verdict. It had been a joke between 2 people who already decided the other one was not going to let them get away with anything. Sharon was not here to not let her get away with anything. Emily was going to have to do that for herself. Henderson appeared as a low glow on the desert horizon. Not the vertical density of a city, but the lateral spread of a place that had grown outward rather than upward. The lights of strip malls and housing developments, casino overflow bleeding into the darkening sky. Beyond it, the brighter wash of Las Vegas to the north. But Emily was not going to Las Vegas. Sami said, "Take the 215 south. The site is 12 miles past the interchange off a dirt road. We go in the morning." "I know." Emily watched the lights grow. "Rachel told me." Okay, when did Rachel tell you? 466. When did Rachel tell her this? "Tonight you sleep," he said it like a briefing note, not an order. "Not for 3 hours, the full night. Your body is running on fumes, and you're not going to be useful at dawn if you're running on the next set of fumes." Emily thought about Rachel, how she sounded at 5 in the morning, how she sounded at midnight at the pier. Oh my gosh. 473 says midnight at the pier. It was sunset. I think it was sunset. How neither voice had carried weight of someone running on fumes. Some people's lights just didn't go out. "I know that too." "I know you know it." Wait, what does he know? "Oh, yeah. Set of fumes. I know that. I know you know it." A pause. Just saying it out loud in case saying it out loud helps. Emily did not tell him that it did, slightly. She took the exit toward Henderson, and the desert suburbs rose around her, flat and anonymous, the way all edge cities are when you arrive in them for the right reasons. She was thinking about the site, an underground archive beneath the abandoned drive-in theater somewhere off a dirt road she'd never been on. She was not thinking about whether she was the right person for this. She had made that decision in a parking lot in Los Angeles when she had gotten up off the pavement and kept going. She had made it again at the gas station north of Victorville. She'd been making it with every mile since Baker. At some point, you start reevaluating a decision and start executing it. She'd crossed that line somewhere in the Mojave, and she was not going back. She found a motel at the edge of Henderson, same class of anonymous refuge as the one at Barstool, which felt appropriate somehow, as if the universe had a sense of continuity about unremarkable places. She checked in under the same fake name, paid cash, carried the bag to the room herself when Salmi offered to carry it. She sat on the edge of the bed and checked the burner one more time. Nothing. She set it on the nightstand. She set the road atlas next to it. She thought about Sharon saying, "You're stronger than you think." Let's go back up to this part about the unremarkable motel right here. 497 should add another detail about old forgetful hotels. Roadside motels. All right. Excuse me. She thought about Sharon saying, "You're stronger than you think." She thought about what it would take to believe that, not in the abstract, not as something Sharon had said, and Rachel had confirmed and Salmi had implayed by choosing to follow her, but in the practical, operational sense. In the morning, at dawn, in an underground site in the desert, with 400 miles behind her, she thought, maybe believing it isn't required. Maybe to just act like it's true till the evidence catches up. Then she set an alarm for 5:15. She stretched out on top of the covers. She turned off the light. Outside, the desert made its usual arrangements. The distant hum of the highway, the lights of Henderson dimming at the edges where the suburbs gave way to the open desert. Somewhere above the weather and the light pollution and the long curve of the atmosphere, the golden dawn was moving through the dark between here and Saturn at a speed that made the distance between them feel like a measurement from another kind of mathematics entirely. She closed her eyes. "Stronger than you think," Sharon had said. Emily wasn't sure she believed it yet, but she had made it to Nevada. She had made it to Nevada on 3 hours of sleep. and 400 miles of desert highway. Oh, no, she made it on 6 hours of sleep because she slept twice for 3 hours, maybe 3 times. So 531 hours of sleep. Incorrect. Didn't she stop 3 times for a total of 9 hours? All right. But she had made it to Nevada. She made it to Nevada on 3 hours of sleep and 400 miles of desert highway. And she parked the car and she walked the stairs. And she was here. She would figure out belief in the morning. She was asleep before the thought finished. I think that there needs to be much more interaction between Sami and her. Like, he's really a side note. So let's say Sami has very little dialogue. And interaction. He should be more funny and interactive. He should also reveal more about his past and motives without it turning into exposition. All right. We've got Red Squirrel in the house. What's up, Red Squirrel? I did share that on stream yesterday. I couldn't replicate it, so I did show people that really cool liquidity pool. If you guys want to know more about the cryptocurrency project that is part of this whole universe, check out agproject.io. Go there, connect your cryptocurrency wallet. You can play the game and try to earn energy yourself. The jackpot's going down. First jackpot's going down in a couple days. So check that out. Join us at Telegram, t.me/antigravity saga. And that's where you can read the book in full. The links to it are on there for the public GitHub repository that I'm reading from. And that's a repository that gets updated every time we add these notes to it. So I hope you guys enjoyed this reading of Rings of Dust. And we will catch you on the next stream. Ciao.